want them alive. No disintegrations.
As you wish.
Hey toy fans, my name is Tony and welcome back to the RetroBlasting YouTube channel. The premier... Oh, I can't blow smoke up your ass anymore. I've been here for a while now.
I didn't ask him to, and I don't know why he's trying. No, it's always, I say always, it's only been a few days, but I've always wanted to have you here, and I want to visit Casa de Analog Toys at some point and see.
You're always welcome.
Because I've said it before, I'll say it again. I really think that between your collection and my collection, we get the lion's share of 70s through 80s stuff, and they're like companion pieces. Like if you decided you wanted to set up a toy museum or something, I've
been thinking about that.
I would want to eventually have my collection go wherever that toy museum is, to literally, just so you don't have to get all the 1984 Transformers, you know,
or the Dick Tracy,
of which I have an entire carded mitten box set, including the blank, and an entire loose set.
Yep.
Not that the museum would want to display both, which I understand. But again,
those cars are pretty cool.
Oh, the cars are the darlings of the line. Yeah.
But we're here to talk about the Stan Solo exclusive Boba Fett action figure, exclusive to this year's Iconicon.
Yes.
And I know I discussed this to some degree on the opening ceremonies, but I wanted to sit down and really discuss this with Michael. We've both been huge fans of Stan Solo for a long time now. The guy makes fantastic product, and this initially, the whole idea of reaching out to Stan Solo was Sal from 2 Cents Toys. It was his idea. And I contacted Chris Smith, and I know Chris Smith pretty well, and I think we have a kind of relationship where if it was not going to be possible within the time frame or whatever it was, that he could say no and I wouldn't be offended.
Right.
But I said to Chris, Iconicon last year, we're doing it again this year. How would you feel about this? And he just wrote back, yes. And I said, look, I think I'm a lot like Chris in the fact that I don't really like to take input for my videos.
Right.
If you're like, hey, would you collaborate or support me on this particular project? Yes, I'll do it. Let me run with my own idea and I'll support you as best I can. And I know Chris is the same way.
Yeah.
So I was I think the discussion I'd had with Sal was, let's do an astromech droid. Sal said, do an astromech droid and the sticker colours will be Iconicon colours.
Yeah.
So I didn't even want to suggest that to Chris because I know how Chris wants to do his own thing. So he said yes. And I get back to the Iconicon planning team and I'm like, Chris is in, he's going to do it. And they're like, and then people in our group chat were throwing around all these ideas and I'm like, I'm not going to give Chris any ideas.
No, just let Chris run.
10 minutes later, he comes back to me and he says, movie accurate, Boba Fett, electroplated, Iconicon colours.
Yeah.
What? And then he showed me a digital render within 10 minutes of me actually asking him, is this possible? So he had actually already been working on this figure. So I'm assuming that later on this year, you will probably get a movie accurate Boba Fett in traditional Kenner colours or maybe in movie colours.
Right.
But there's so much attention to detail in this figure, Michael. I mean, we have a movie accurate rocket pack.
Yes, for the first time on a Kenner 5 POA style body. Yep.
We have the rangefinder actually sticking up from the helmet.
It's no longer just this sort of vague, right above the eye.
Yeah,
piece.
It's not a wart growing out the side of his head.
Right.
We have the movie accurate blaster.
Yes, from Return of the Jedi. Yes, the blaster in Empire is a slightly different version of that same gun, but that is the more famous variant, the Return of the Jedi one that he points at Luke Skywalker before he gets the barrel cut off. Yeah. And
unlike a lot of Kenner figures, he actually holds it pretty well.
He does. It's also vac metallized too, which I think is really cool.
Yeah, and even Chris wasn't sure he was going to be able to do that.
Yeah.
And not only did he do it, he knocked it out of the park.
He really did. I mean, I was like, I would have been fine if the accessory, and I would have understood if the accessory had just been plastic.
Yeah.
And then the soft goods cape setting the whole thing off, where it's like, I'm going to
Yeah.
do the cape too. Where when we were kids, we were all fashioning a little bit of a soft goods cape for him out of like craft fabric or something, or felt or whatever. And he's like, nope, let's do it. And it's just boom. And yet at the same time, obviously it's vac metalized as a commemorative piece for Iconicon, but he didn't stray from the deco balance of Boba Fett, where the colors are all tastefully applied to reflect what Boba Fett looked like.
And that's really testament to Chris Smith's eye as a artisan toy maker.
Yeah.
Is that he can take the Iconicon logo and look at the colours. Someone like me, I would take those colours and would kind of throw them everywhere, and it would look like vac metalized vomit.
Yep.
But where he applied each different colour, the colour choice for the helmet, and it was just perfect. I mean, the texture of that material on the cape, the way it hangs.
Yep.
It's a gorgeous, gorgeous piece.
It really looks great, and I love the fact that it is a purposeful custom exclusive, not just random garbage. So like, and I'm not saying that because it's Iconicon. I truly mean that, and for everyone watching, none of the people who organized Iconicon are getting any profit from this figure. This is the Iconicon. Iconicon is about independent creators, of which Stan Solo is an independent creator. So any person who buys one of these from Stan Solo, you're 100% supporting Stan Solo's efforts in the artisan toy space. So just to make that clear, this is very much in the spirit of what Iconicon is and what our toy community is. But what I also love is that it's purposeful, in the sense that he on his own, like you said, tell Chris Smith
he's the mad scientist.
Yes, just let him roll.
Ignite the fuse and let him, lay the explosive where it needs to be.
He took the color palette of the Iconicon logo, which I wouldn't have even thought of. Obviously, Sal had thought of it, but I wouldn't have. And he made it into this beautiful piece. There are example after example after example of exclusives, even from some big toy companies, where you just go, and I shouldn't just say exclusives, I should say customs, where you just go, why? So like when Hasbro was like, oh, it's the 40th anniversary of Star Wars, so we're going to take a bunch of figures that we've already released before, and we're just going to spray paint them, just glop them with gold paint, and put them in 2-packs. And you go, there's no motivated purpose there other than in 40th anniversary, when you could have put out some much nicer things. What a layup. Like, what a, What in the hell is a carbonized... Right. Yeah, only by chance in the carbonized line does like one or two of the figures actually end up looking better than their standard versions.
Yeah.
But otherwise, you go, why did you paint up Cara Dune to look... And some people are like, well, I guess Cara Dune technically is the credit line.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, she's supposed to look like she does in some... Is it a comic book or something? And I'm like... It still doesn't work. Much like the carbonized, it's the same idea of pointless effort.
Yep.
Like, re-release the figure, but glop a different set of paint codes on it. This, on the other hand, is something that I would have bought if it had been, say, a Celebration exclusive, or it would have been like a Toylanta exclusive, or because it just looks so nice.
Yeah.
A lot of customs don't have factory quality. They don't look nice. They look kit bashed.
We've said it in every video that we've both done about Stan Solo products. This is Kenner quality.
Yeah.
It's almost starting to exceed Kenner quality.
Yes.
And we were a long way through the process. After Chris has agreed and like this is the concept, then the Iconicon planning team, we're continuing to have meetings every 2 weeks, getting ready for Iconicon. And in the background, we would then hear from Chris like every 2 or 3 weeks, like the next bit of progress and an update photo and thing. And at no point was I ever expecting to see a carded version. And progress producing the figure was going so well that only a few weeks out from Iconicon, he's like, I'm going to do carded ones. And I love the fact that the image looks like some of the Palatoy posters for mail-away figures that we used to get back in the day, where it's a very low angle looking up. There's a famous photo of Dengar as a mail-away figure and that kind of thing. So it's kind of taken like that Palatoy style shot with this beautiful reflective piping around the card. And then, of course, we come to the back. Chris had reached out to me and said, have we got some kind of an Iconicon blurb we can write up on the back? And I was like, oh, Melinda can get something from the website, easy. And I was like, damn, by pure happenstance, we had been working with Alex Sanchez on the artwork for the T-shirts.
Yep.
And it was created to look like the back of a kind of Empire era Star Wars card back. Like, Chris, I've got something to go on the back. Like the pure coincidence of this was meant to be.
Right.
So from top to bottom, from the card back to the figure to all the I can't thank Chris enough, and I'm blown away.
Yeah.
And I saw a lot of photos of this figure before actually arriving in the States. I saw it for the first time at the Iconicon in-person meetup on Monday. And comes in the beautiful shipper boxes that Chris uses for his carded figures. And I took it out of the bubble wrapper. Photos do not do this justice.
They don't. They really don't.
So where for you, Michael, you have purchased a lot of Stan Solo products over the years.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, now that I've seen your General Lando, but in the movie colours, I need to go and buy one of those. So I haven't got one of those yet. I've got a lot of Stan Solo products.
His products have become so popular. I'm still trying to get the Snoot Nose Spy.
Yeah,
I don't have him yet because he keeps selling out. And so I've got to get him, and he's got some other stuff in the wings that he's gonna. Yeah. I think he's on holiday right now, just trying to decompress. I don't blame you, Chris.
No, I don't blame you.
But yeah, when he's back online, I can't wait to re-engage him for some more orders. But where this falls for me, I'll tell you this: I'm trying to take my personal connection to Iconicon out of it because that's what I try to do on RetroBlasting anyway. I have a whole video series called Star Wars Follies where I literally point out all the things that irritate me about my favorite toy line of all time, which is vintage Star Wars. So even though it's my first love, I also that's just how I think about things and how I have fun with things. Authenticity of thought. So if I was to take myself out of the equation, I would say that this figure shows the potential that the Kenner mold for Boba Fett had.
Yeah.
It's like a preview of... Sorry, I didn't mean to hit you. It's like a... No, you didn't move.
I'm going to change gear now. This will involve man touching.
There was some man touching there.
Yeah,
I'm
fine with that.
It's like a preview of... Have you ever seen those images, Tony, where somebody takes the vintage original Han Solo, or they take the vintage original Obi-Wan, and then they repaint them to be movie accurate, and then suddenly you see all the detail come out in the sculpt that Kenner already made, because they didn't have the paint technology at the time. What this shows me is, with a little resculpting, what the sculpt of Kenner's Boba Fett had inherently. And then on top of that, the way that he's made it just pop like a vintage Chogokin robot. Like it has this Japanese Chogokin look to it with the either electroplated or vac metal colors that are all, almost anodized style with the. So it's gorgeous. He throws in the soft goods. Am I, or have I been in the past, slightly more excited when I've seen a figure that was never made by Kenner for the standard line, like Slave Leia, or trying to think some of the I'm losing my mind here. I'm looking over at my cases now.
Oola, Slave Leia.
Slave Leia.
Han and Stormtrooper.
Yes, Han and Stormtrooper. Thank you. That's the one I was searching for. Yeah, because it was like, oh, finally, But this, whereas that was, Kenner redemption. This is Artisan figures have a way forward, and again, I wouldn't be saying this if it wasn't for the fact that this, like some customs that I bought from other companies last year and this year at Joe Fest, this is of a quality that I would buy it regardless of whether or not it was an Iconicon piece connected to us.
Yeah.
Like I'm not connected to Marauders. But last year I bought their tribute October Guard Dana. I bought their tribute Lady J and Flint. I didn't go buy the Hasbro one. I bought, their tribute pieces. And this year, I bought a few things that were exclusive from the Valaverse booth because it was of quality. It doesn't look like a kit bashed, custom, painted in a garage thing. You know, it looks
far beyond that. Actually,
Yeah.
This to me exceeds the quality of what. And it's Artisan. It's a small company. These aren't cheap. I'll
Right.
be honest about it. You know, they're not cheap. But you know, I'm all for supporting small business.
Yeah.
But when the quality far exceeds anything that a major company like Hasbro is putting out in this scale,
Yeah.
Chris will get my money every day over them. So
Yeah, I agree. I guess the way I would answer it so that no one accuses me of dodging your question is this figure, when I first saw it in the first test shots and everything, I was as excited for it as I was when I saw his slave Leia, as I was when I saw his Han Stormtrooper. It's a totally different kind of piece. But but it's not outside the lines. You know what I mean? Like it's not a rainbow colored Darth Vader that's supposed to be a test shot replica from Kenner on a card. You know, it is a completely it is honest about what it is, and yet it looks so good. It just looks great.
Yeah, and for me personally, again, I'm trying to, you know, trying to overlook my connection to Iconicon as well.
Right.
But I don't have every Stan Solo product. You know, some of them don't fit for my collection, but I have a lot of Stan Solo products.
Yeah.
I love the astromech droids, all that kind of thing. I have the slave Leia. I have the Han Stormtrooper. I have a lot of his last 17 reproductions. His Imperial Gunner. Like, don't go and spend $450 on a original. But where I think this ranks among all of his previous products, I feel this is the best figure he has done to date. But I still think that he can go further.
Oh, he can totally go further.
Yeah.
I also told him when he was sending me the photographs, I said, I think this is the coolest, and I was blown away, humbled, and I couldn't believe it. I was like, this is the coolest looking exclusive figure that I've ever seen for a convention.
Yeah.
Like, I couldn't believe it. I was thinking back on SDCC, Indiana Jones Lost Wave. I mean, yeah, one out of those 6 figures was pretty cool looking, but it's like, I went to Comic-Con 3 years ago, and I saw the exclusives, and there were those rainbow-colored Darth Vaders that were supposed to be like test shots or whatever. And then there was like a Luke with a foil card back or something, and I'm like, but the Luke is a standard figure from before, or was it Boba Fett? It was it was a Boba Fett with like a sort of reflective, holographic-looking card back,
like a Boba Fett in a Pop-Tart bag.
Yeah, exactly. And it was kind of like, but this, it captures the vintage, it improves on the vintage, it pulls the potential out of it, but it also, for all those people who dog on repro, you'll never mistake this for a Kenner Boba Fett. It is of the same quality as Kenner. I think it actually exceeds Kenner quality.
I think it does, yeah.
After I've handled it. It exceeds it, but at the same time, it can never be passed off for it, and it is a display darling. I think it looks great.
Yeah.
So.
And there's not much more to say other than the fact that I don't believe this is available on Chris's Etsy store. This is available directly on the Stan Solo Creations website.
Oh, okay.
I believe it's stansolocreations.co.uk. I may have got that wrong. We'll put the link in the description of the video. Go to the website, and there's also his American eBay seller has got a number of these. But yeah, if you're even slightly tempted by this figure, yeah, go and visit the Stan Solo Creations, their own website. I think that's the way Chris is going to move forward now. It's going to be his own website.
Why wouldn't he?
He's not dealing with Etsy, eBay, all that stuff anymore.
Yeah.
I think he's got to a point now, and I'm very happy he has, that he's not still kind of waiting for new people to discover him. He has enough of a customer base now that he can just announce stuff on his website and it's going to sell. So I think, Chris, you did an amazing job. Thank you for supporting Iconicon in this particular fashion, and me and Michael, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I think we're very happy to continue supporting you on this journey I think you already are the best artisan toy maker working today.
Yeah.
But But to me, you're like that UFC fighter who's already the GOAT.
Yep.
And is now determined to go and set records that can never be beaten. That is where Stan Solo Creations is right now with their Star Wars customers.
Yeah,
so.
and I won't speak for you, Tony, but you guys all know RetroBlasting is all about supporting independent new companies with new ideas and or new efforts into the collectible toy space, because the toy companies by and large let us down. And so Stan Solo is at the top of the heap in those categories. I mean, he's worlds above. And the other important thing is, I prefer to vet people very carefully, because I want to make sure that the people that get a signal boost from my channel or your channel are people who are going to honestly deliver. They're not, they're not going to hem and haw and bush league it and then suddenly, oopsie, oh sorry, I can't give you your money back, or it's going to be, and then what you get maybe isn't good or whatever, and that's not limited to necessarily one individual. This has happened in the artisan toy space a few times. So we're trying to be very careful. So I guess what I'm telling you here, guys, is Stan Solo has a reputation that goes back years. And he does not, how do I put this? He's never let his customers down when it comes to his products. It's like...
He delivers.
Yeah, he delivers. It's like if you were buying one of the new limited edition movie score sets off of Entrada. Entrada's been around for a long time. They're a small boutique house when it comes to pressing CDs, but you can always trust when you give them your money, you're going to get what they promise. And Stan Solo is the Entrada of artisan toy makers.
It's a beautiful place to end the video.
Yeah. Oh, well, thank you.
So, thank you for having me here in the RetroBlasting
Thank you.
archive.
No, thank you for being here. Thank you for flying around the world.
And it's terrific to see this in person and do the video. I hope everyone's enjoying Iconicon, and we will see you on the next video.
Yeah, whichever one it is, because this is a surprise video for Iconicon that we're going to fit in there somewhere. So whatever's coming next, go to Iconicon online and check the schedule, and you'll see what's coming up.
All right. See you in the next video.
See ya.
Bye. Hey, Boba, I'm going to ride this kangaroo all the way back to Rhode Island.
What if he doesn't survive? He's worth a lot to me.
Then I'll see you in hell.